All right, so what have we done? What videos have I put out? What video am I working on? I've done the site prep. And I put up string lines. I've dug some holes. Then we poured some concrete. I just realized I'm holding a green cup in front of me. How do I turn the brightness up on my monitor? Here. Oh, holy poop. There's like a button for that? It's not working. I hate technology. It's poopy. Do I have M&M in my teeth?
They're slightly green.
So at this point, it's a good time to clean up the construction site. So I know that there's about 15 to 20 bags of empty concrete bags just laying around, so it's time to pick those up. Yeah, I'll meet you over there in just a second. So the concrete footers have been poured, the piers have been set, the anchor bolts were all good. Everything that I needed the batter boards and string lines for, done. So I can take those and I can put those to the side. It's been about 3 or 4 days. I can go ahead and remove the plastic from over all of my concrete piers. And if you notice in my previous videos, I didn't use all of the hard pan that I had delivered. So I'm gonna go ahead and use some of that to backfill around all of my piers. And it's a good idea to go ahead and tamp that down as well. That way we've got ourselves a nice solid foundation in order to build our brand new building on. I need M&Ms. I need something to do. Well, I'm thinking of something to say. I'll just take that. I'd be like, oh, I dug some holes. Termite shields. One of the things to note about termite shields is that you don't just go to your local home improvement store, find the first associate that you can, and ask them, where are your termite shields? Because they're going to look at you funny, most likely anyway. Because it's not really something that you purchase. And to be honest, it's not something that you should purchase because they're extremely easy to make. And if you live, well, pretty much anywhere, really. Yeah, I know. All it takes is some flashing. I went to my local home improvement store, the orange one, and I think it was a 10-foot roll, and it cost me like $9. So I bought 2 of those rolls, so I guess maybe For $18, $19 or so, I can make enough termite shields for the entire building. All 10 of my footers. All 10 of my piers. I guess I should use... They're going to like nab me in the video. Oh, you said footers. You don't use footers and termite shields together. You know they sound like that when they're typing too. Like, you're stupid. That's how I envision them in my head. When I got to read those comments. You're stupid. Now, termite shields, in case you're wondering, it's not something that you have to have. I don't think it's code. But I know here on this property, termites are a thing. If you have wood in contact with the ground around here, within a couple of weeks, you're going to have termites in that wood. And it doesn't even matter if you're using pressure-treated lumber, because termites will burrow right through that pressure-treated lumber just as quick as they'll burrow through any other kind of wood. And I know that that's probably contrary to what a lot of people think. In fact, I just called out a pest control company because we were going to purchase a termite bond for our house. And while he was out here, he quoted me like $800 for the termite bond. And I had asked about the workshop. Did that include the accessory buildings that were on the property as well? And he took a look at the workshop and he saw the termite shields on there. And he said, to be honest, yes, I can throw that into the price and I can quote you on that as well. But you've got termite shields there, and that is going to take care of 85–90% of your problems with termites anyway. Just make sure that you don't take lumber and lean it up against the workshop as it's in contact with the ground, because what they'll do is they'll burrow through the wood that you have in contact with the ground, and then they'll get into your workshop that way. So just make sure that the only points of contact between your workshop and the ground is your concrete piers, and you should be good. It's not something that we really need to treat. And so I opted not to go ahead and add the workshop into the termite bond price as well, just because he was very certain that in his 30 years of dealing with houses and termites in this area, that anytime that he's seen that, he really doesn't see a problem with termites. So I got some aluminum flashing, so I'm gonna cut my pieces in 18-inch lengths. And that's gonna give me an inch overhang all the way around. And I'm not gonna measure anything here. All I'm gonna do is place these top of the anchor bolts. And then I'm just gonna take a hammer and I'm just gonna tap lightly around the edges of my anchor bolts to make an indent on the flashing. Then I'm gonna take a step bit and drill a hole in my flashing the size of my anchor bolts. Now I can take that flashing and put it right back on my pier. Those holes should line up where my anchor bolts are. Now this aluminum flashing is pliable enough where you can just take your hands and bend that right over the pier. And then after you do that, you kind of need to crease it just a little bit better. So I'm going to take a rubber mallet and go ahead and just tap around all four sides. And I can continue that process for all 10 of my piers. Now, things to keep in mind, depending on the type of flashing that you have chosen for your termite shields, you may or may not need some sill seal. That's S-I-L-L. Sill seal. Sill seal is because aluminum cannot be in contact with the concrete. But aluminum also cannot be in contact with pressure-treated lumber, and your sill plates actually by code have to be pressure-treated lumber. So you have to have the sill seal on the bottom of your flashing, your termite shields, and also on the top of your termite shields. So one final step before this is all finished. The corners of that flashing, if you're walking by that and you don't have boots on, that is gonna rip you right down to the bone and you won't even feel that. So just out of an abundance of caution, what I like to do is just get my snips and round over the corners of those sharp edges. And this is also one of the reasons why early on in a construction site, I like to wear not only pants, but also boots. Because if you run up across that flashing, it may actually, depending on the type of pants that you're wearing, it may actually get you through your pants. But if you have boots on, generally speaking, you're gonna be safe. And when you're doing construction, when you're building anything, whether it is a woodworking project in your workshop, or it is a construction project like what I'm doing here, safety and risk management is the name of the game. So that's it. That's all there is to creating termite shields for your brand new workshop or large shed. Don't forget to check me out at simplyeasydiy.com. And until then.